So I had this business. We built it to about a $50 million business. A lot of great customers, great employees. We were growing 25% a year with a 40% margin. Like it was a good
It's a good
business.
business.
Yeah, but I'd sold most of my ownership to various people. So I had like a little like 2% ownership, and then I was the
Okay.
CEO. But I was happy, got paid good money to do work that I enjoyed doing.
Hmm.
You can't ask for more than that. 2020 comes around, and my board decides that I'm a little too conservative and Christian for their liking.
Hmm.
And so while we didn't have any performance problems. In fact, we grew through 2020.
Hmm.
They decided I didn't have the right social media political correct profile.
Okay.
And so they basically told me, you're welcome to kind of, continue to be the CEO if you dial down everything else about your life. And I'm like, that sounds like you don't want me to bring my whole self to work. So no, thank you. I'll pass. So I ended up leaving there in early 2021. Not my favorite, call it period of my life, when you get
I bet.
fired from a business you love and you started.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's okay. I'll take a year off. I got a severance. I'm going to play some golf, hang with my kids. Worse things have happened to people.
Sure.
But then a friend kind of challenged me and said, look, you were just given a choice between your job and your values. And I had the financial wherewithal to not worry about losing my job, and could easily stick with my values. It's a lot easier decision for me when I'm not worried about paying my mortgage, right? But for a lot of conservatives and Christians, if you're given that choice of job or values, and you're really deciding, can I continue to feed my kids and pay my mortgage? Well, you're at least going to be tempted to compromise on something you hold very dearly.
Hmm.
And so, this friend kind of challenged me. They're like, you need to help those people out. You've been obviously put in this position, go do something. So I'm like, fine, I will create a job board. I will call it Red Balloon, because have you ever been on a hot air balloon?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So if you go on a hot air balloon, and those who are listening who have, it's very quiet up there, unless you're in a major storm, but it's very quiet because you're just going with the wind. You don't have a lot of control. The
Mhm.
way you control those things, which I found when I went on one the first time, is you basically go up and down to try and find wind that's going the right direction, and then just kind of go with that.
Gotcha.
Makes sense, kind of cool, but
Yeah.
you don't have a ton of control. It's not an airplane, it's not a helicopter, any of those things. And it feels a lot like the job searching process. It's super quiet, you're getting ghosted all the time, and you're going
Yeah.
somewhere you just don't know where, right?
Hmm.
And so we're like, well, and there's people moving to red states. There's this great kind of, divide that's happening in the US where this
Big
migration
time.
is
Yeah.
happening. You see people moving to red businesses where they can be free, where they can live their values out loud, where
Mhm.
meritocracy reigns and DEI doesn't. So we're like, okay, well, it kind of describes the process. So we'll call it Red Balloon.